For 2.5 million years, humans fed themselves by gathering plants and hunting animals that lived and bred without their intervention. Homo erectus, Homo ergaster, and the Neanderthals plucked wild figs and hunted wild sheep, without deciding where fig trees would take root, in which meadow a herd of sheep should graze, or which billy goat would inseminate which nanny goat. Homo sapiens spread from East Africa to the Middle East, to Europe and Asia, and finally to Australia and America. But everywhere they went, sapiens too continued to live by gathering wild plants and hunting wild animals. Why do anything else when your lifestyle feeds you amply and supports a rich world of social structures, religious beliefs, and political dynamics? All this changed about 10,000 years ago, when sapiens began to devote almost all their time and effort to manipulating the lives of a few animal and plant species. From sunrise to sunset, humans sowed seeds, watered plants, plucked weeds from the ground, and led sheep to prime pastures. This work, they thought, would provide them with more fruit, grain, and meat. It was a revolution in the way humans lived. Scholars once proclaimed that the agricultural revolution was a great leap forward for humanity. They told a tale of progress fueled by human brain power. Evolution gradually produced ever more intelligent people. Eventually, people were so smart that they were able to decipher nature's secrets, enabling them to tame sheep and cultivate wheat. As soon as this happened, they cheerfully abandoned the grueling, dangerous, and often Spartan life of hunter-gatherers, settling down to enjoy the pleasant, satiated life of farmers. That tale is a fantasy. There is no evidence that people became more intelligent with time. Foragers knew the secrets of nature long before the agricultural revolution, since their survival depended on an intimate knowledge of the animals they hunted and the plants they gathered. Rather than heralding a new era of easy living, the agricultural revolution left farmers with lives generally more difficult and less satisfying than those of foragers. Hunter-gatherers spent their time in more stimulating and varied ways, and were less in danger of starvation and disease. The agricultural revolution certainly enlarged the sum total of food at the disposal of humankind, but the extra food did not translate into a better diet or more leisure. Rather, it translated into population explosions and pampered elites. The average farmer worked harder than the average forager and got a worse diet in return. The agricultural revolution was history's biggest fraud. Who was responsible? Neither kings, nor priests, nor merchants. The culprits were a handful of plant species, including wheat, rice, and potatoes. These plants domesticated Homo sapiens, rather than vice versa. Think for a moment about the agricultural revolution from the viewpoint of wheat. 10,000 years ago, wheat was just a wild grass, one of many, confined to a small range in the Middle East. Suddenly, within just a few short millennia, it was growing all over the world. According to the basic evolutionary criteria of survival and reproduction, wheat has become one of the most successful plants in the history of the earth. In areas such as the Great Plains of North America, where not a single wheat stalk grew 10,000 years ago, you can today walk for hundreds upon hundreds of miles without encountering any other plant. Worldwide, wheat covers about 870,000 square miles of the globe's surface, almost 10 times the size of Britain. How did this grass turn from insignificant to ubiquitous? Wheat did it by manipulating Homo sapiens to its advantage. This ape had been living a fairly comfortable life, hunting and gathering, until about 10,000 years ago, but then began to invest more and more effort in cultivating wheat. Within a couple of millennia, humans in many parts of the world were doing little from dawn to dusk other than taking care of wheat plants. It wasn't easy. Wheat demanded a lot of them. Wheat didn't like rocks and pebbles, so sapiens broke their backs clearing fields. Wheat didn't like sharing its space, water and nutrients with other plants, so men and women labored long days weeding under the scorching sun. Wheat got sick, so sapiens had to keep a watch out for worms and blight. Wheat was attacked by rabbits and locust swarms, So the farmers built fences and stood guard over the fields. Wheat was thirsty, so humans dug irrigation canals or lugged heavy buckets from the well to water it. Sapiens even collected animal feces to nourish the ground in which wheat grew. The body of Homo sapiens had not evolved for such tasks. It was adapted to climbing apple trees and running after gazelles, not to clearing rocks and carrying water buckets. Human spines, knees, necks, and arches paid the price. Studies of ancient skeletons indicate that the transition to agriculture brought about a plethora of ailments, such as slipped discs, arthritis, and hernias. Moreover, the new agricultural tasks demanded so much time that people were forced to settle permanently next to their wheat fields. This completely changed their way of life. We did not domesticate wheat. It domesticated us. The word domesticate comes from the Latin domus, which means house. Who's the one living in a house? Not the wheat. It's the sapiens. How did wheat convince Homo sapiens to exchange a rather good life for a more miserable existence? What did it offer in return? It did not offer a better diet. Remember, humans are omnivorous apes who thrive on a wide variety of foods. Grains made up only a small fraction of the human diet before the agricultural revolution. A diet based on cereals is poor in minerals and vitamins, hard to digest, and really bad for your teeth and gums. Wheat did not give people economic security. The life of a peasant is less secure than that of a hunter-gatherer. Foragers relied on dozens of species to survive and could therefore weather difficult years even without stocks of preserved food. If the availability of one species was reduced, they could gather and hunt more of other species. Farming societies have, until very recently, relied for the great bulk of their calorie intake on a small variety of domesticated plants. In many areas, they relied on just a single staple, such as wheat, potatoes, or rice. If the rains failed, or clouds of locusts arrived, or if a fungus infected that staple species, peasants died by the thousands and millions. Nor could wheat offer security against human violence. The early farmers were at least as violent as their forager ancestors, if not more so. Farmers had more possessions and needed land for planting. The loss of pasture land to raiding neighbors could mean the difference between subsistence and starvation, so there was much less room for compromise. When a foraging band was hard-pressed by a stronger rival, it could usually move on. It was difficult and dangerous, but it was feasible. When a strong enemy threatened an agricultural village, retreat meant giving up fields, houses, and granaries. In many cases, this doomed the refugees to starvation. Farmers, therefore, tended to stay put and fight to the bitter end. This is the essence of the agricultural revolution, the ability to keep more people alive under worse conditions. Yet, why should individuals care about this evolutionary calculus? Why would any sane person lower his or her standard of living just to multiply the number of copies of the Homo sapiens genome? Nobody agreed to this deal. The agricultural revolution was a trap. The luxury trap.
buddy. You smoke a pipe?
Yeah.
Oh, word. I hear it's getting more popular, you know?
Yeah. I tried to bring it back when I was 18.
Oh, no kidding.
I was that weird kid who would smoke a pipe when I was 18.
Oh, that's boss.
Oh, it's a nice case you got here.
Yeah, I made this.
Really?
Yeah.
You mind if I take a
Yeah,
look?
please do. I've got a YouTube channel. You're going on.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Man, I tried Flake, but I never really figured out how to do it right.
You just rub it out, you know?
That's it, right? Just rub it out?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Check this one out. This was pretty rare.
Jermaine made in Jersey, British Isles.
Yeah, this is like, you ever heard of Esoterica?
No.
That stuff's like super sought after. It's like $300 a bag now.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I remember there was a time where Dunhill was going to stop. I think they stopped making early morning pipe, right?
Oh, Dunhill stopped making pipe tobacco altogether, yeah.
Holy shit. So those cans, you have them, are probably pretty valuable now, huh?
Maybe like 35 to 50 a can, depending on which one it is, yeah, for sure.
The break of noon, shadows even the silver spoon, the handmaid made the jazz balloon, eclipses both the sun and moon. You understand, you know too soon that there is no sense in trying. Pointed threats they bluff with scorn, suicide remarks are torn, but the fool's gold mouthpiece a hollow horn. Plays wasted words and proves to warn. Being that busy being born is a busy dying. Temptation's page flies out the door. You finally find yourself at war. Watch the waterfalls, the pity roar. Feel the moan, but unlike before, you discover that you used to be a one more busy crying. If you hear that foreign sound to your ears, it's already mine. I'm only saying. Some one victim is some downfall. Private reasons, great or small, and be seen in the eyes of those who call. To make all that shit be killed to crawl. Well, they say don't hate nothing at all, I said they hate trade. Disillusion words are like a bullet spark. Human gods aim for their mark. Make everything from toy guns that spark. Flesh-colored Christ that glow in the dark. Easy to see without a looking too far, that not how much is really sacred. Preacher of evil fates. Teachers teaching knowledge waits. Can lead you to $100 plates. Goodness hands behind the gate, but even the president of the United States sometimes must have to stand naked. Because the rules of the road have been locked. It's people's game, but you got to die. Sing the lyric. It's already mine. I can make it. Advertising signs they con you into thinking that you're the one that can do what's never been done, that can win what's never been won.